to the Do It All Dad, your podcast, dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. Controlling our kids through comedy can make our kids great again. Deal with the verbiage, BuzzFeed. And this is episode 61. My new American dream. It's my 4-year-old son at home. He asked me, Dada, is God happy? And then my wife chimes in, God can be a she. And then I say, Mama's feminist teen spirit post Me Too eclipses any shot of Nirvana for God, kid. Ah! Eddie Vedder's voice fluctuates between hushed garbling, constipated tones, and cathartic, overacted overtones like a darker, more masculine sounding Dave Matthews on better weed. Can I get a holla for some holla? Lena Dunham was profiled by The Cut, but she got her own pad in the West Village without having to depend on her daddy for a handout. Lena cuts off her dad, not the other way around. Oh, I thought Cut was an indie glamour mag about suicide. My bad. Can I get another holla for some holla? Did you know Lena Dunham was Hillary's social media community manager? Only Lena Dunham could make Hillary Hammertime Cankles less likable and relatable in one blubbery swoop. When Trump won 2 years ago, BuzzFeed, I prayed for the wall to be built around the strip clubs of Montreal so Lena Dunham wouldn't scare away all the clientele. Can I get another holla for some holla? It's raining hollas. Amy Schumer is having a baby, by the way. Lena Dunham and Sarah Silverman are losing. I hate stories about seeing Bruce Springsteen live more than stories about seeing the Grateful Dead pre-AIDS before magic made HIV disappear. When you could bang any chessy Italian girl from Jersey in the parking lot at Giant Stadium for a drum solo filler in between. It's my wife. You haven't given me any smiles today. This is me. Stroke my ego, and you know what else? Some more. Then talk dirty to me because I want action tonight. Satisfaction, alright. And your PJ look with no makeup on is enough to make Thor go, higher. I call my mighty pounder mallet Thor. This is the foot doctor assistant from Hudson Dermatology. She calls me up. You didn't show for your last appointment. This is me, stay-at-home comedian dad. I have 3 kids and been blessed with useless, bare minimum Facebook grandparents on both sides of the virtual fence, babe. So don't bust my balls. So this is Elon Musk in his zero-gravity office. Elon Musk is talking to his AI-powered life coach computer. Standing desks were so 2017, Tron Robbins. If I move to Mars, I'll be single longer because maintaining long-distance relationships from Mars are always a stretch. That's my wife. I'm going to ask for work off Monday. This is me. It's your life. My wife says, that's the meanest thing you could say. And I say, you really think I'm a slacker, don't you? So this is a shameless recycle of my gift letter opener from my part Turkish friend from college for Kwanzaa. He doesn't celebrate Kwanzaa, but some Turks must. Dear Dave, happy to hear about your path to sober, healthier, less destructive living. My new American dream is this. Everything in Greenwich, Connecticut is greener, brighter, and prettier. My new dream is to buy a home there for my family as a well-off writer, performer, entertainer, best-selling author, stay-at-home comedian, and my follow-up smash hit, Birth of a Pescatarian Comedian. Westchester County is like brownish regular commercial weed in comparison to Greenwich, Connecticut. I can pass a drug test, corporate America, I swear. My weed exit interview podcast was 3 months ago, at least. Media is good. Trump is bad. My father-in-law. Last time I saw him. So he says, people normally gravitate to me. And I said, "You work in IT for a living. Anyone with a pulse is the Howard Stern of cooler talk. No offense." Ungrown flowers must be way cheaper than grown ones because they're the only ones my mother-in-law buys for us. They look like flowers who've never been circumcised and are just as gross and anticlimactic to take in. My in-law's Nazi dog barks at me again. I say, "What's wrong, Heidi Himmler? Do I smell like too much matzo ball soup for your taste?" When your mother-in-law doesn't match your goodbye, it means her bum resents you rubbing in how successful her sister daughter's husband is as an architect in Manchester, England, compared to your non-billable podcast blogger career. Yeah. Can I get another holla for some holla? So this is me calling Hudson Dermatology. I was calling to confirm my appointment to learn whether my finger has skin cancer or warts from being too loose with girls in LA in my 20s. Last name Kornbluth, yet I'm sure my big Jew mouth was a dead giveaway already. So there was a big snowstorm a while back. We're about to get a new one here in the East Coast. And so I figured I'd share this with you for old time's sake, because conversation that happened. Of course, I give it some a measure of thrust towards the end. So I was talking about the snowstorm and how I was like literally had to park our SUV in a gas station and sleep there for a couple hours with 3 kids because we were immobile at the time. The streets were undrivable. So this is me sharing with my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law says, "Lots of people were stuck in the snow." And I said, "But those people aren't your 3 grandchildren to me. So I can give 3 shits about your bullshit sense of empathy, like the way you describe all Arabs as Middle Eastern. Can I get another holla for some holla?" My younger brother. My new job is bleeding into my social life. Mom thought I was going to quit my job over it. My response, being the older brother with 3 kids, he has none. "I'm sure Mom stressed how important it is for you to feel like a big shot in all spheres of your life." So my wife, "You're really edgy around my parents." And I said, "Babe, face the facts. This is nothing new. Your mom is an unhuggable cunt. Her insistence on acting like she's too good to compete on Top Baker doesn't do her any favors either. But I thought the dog got her more active." Wife, "I'm sorry, babe, but you're really edgy around my parents. Only around your mom, actually. All she's good for is bagels and a cake once a year for the kids' birthdays. Plus, she hates how happy the kids are around me without her assistance. Without her assistance. And babe, your mom didn't match my goodbye." My wife says she was just mesmerized by baby Samuel. Her ass was popped on the couch, holding hands with your dad, to show a see-it-in tie of solidarity. When your mother-in-law doesn't match your goodbye, it means her feelings are bruised for you, demonizing her precious, all-truth unearthing, zero-divisive, agenda-driving media. Can I get another holla for some holla? Wife, "You can't talk politics the day before my birthday." This is me. "Your friends and dad bring up how everyone needs to be nice. Stop being so divisive. Like your mom knew what the effing midterms were 8 years ago. Neither did I, but still." Younger brother got engaged. This is what he says to me. I'm marrying her more for her than me. Plus, she's the only girl I've been with who I don't want to cheat on." And I said, "You sound like a bitter-free, lust-conquering slut in a straitjacket already. Congratulations!" So, this is the converted wife. "I abandoned my relationship with my Lord and Savior for a putty Jew from the Bronx like you, smut slacks. At least Jesus is handy with the hammer. He can convert our Christmas tree into a treehouse and have his cousin Saul flip it for a profit." Pharmacist, $80 now for the Adderall, $250 moving forward. So much for this caravan driving down the price of pharmaceuticals. No wonder anyone lobbying for lower drug prices gets iced. Bulworth was on to something. President Trump should just hire Jeff Ross to roast Jim Acosta. What are you exactly? Jim, because you're not suave enough to be a Cuban spy? Does CNN just shove a mic in the hands of anyone with good hair who doesn't look too Tommy Lee alt-rightish? Can I get another holla for some holla? Ivanka, don't get me wrong, Yummy Ivanka locked up as a sexy image. I get it, but it's not happening. Resistors. Plus, I don't think she's getting fired. Also, let's not act like she got caught sending personal emails to your mama Obama at gmail.com either. It's my father-in-law. My all-loving, hate-free father-in-law. The U.S. was never this divisive. This is me. If you don't see how CNN, Facebook, or Obama is the instigator of such hysterical, blatantly divisive rhetoric, then you're the tone-deaf, blind old man at sea going, sailing, can I get another holla for some holla? My mother-in-law. Samuel's had a snotty nose before. This is me. Don't act like you've had a front row view from day one for 2 years straight now, Facebook grandma. But your sister got him nice PJs in England. Good for you. Mother-in-law. We don't have a car seat. This is me. Why would you, since you granted your rescue dog squatter residence only after the birth of your 3 grandchildren, no less? Am I the only one pissed off about the Obamas being a billion-dollar brand now, knowing Obama's an ex-civil servant and done nothing but smirk and talk consistent shit about his replacement ever since, after sanctioning spying on Trump Tower, no less? But seriously, am I the only one pissed off about the Obamas being glorified for being a billion-dollar brand now, knowing Obama's an ex-civil servant not belonging to the skulls and bones, last time I checked, on top of being radio silent on Trump-led prison reform, affecting inner-city kids, the most in his sweet home, Chicago? I questioned why we gave billions to Pakistan on my pilot Don't Laugh or Live in Newark about a fat Ethiopian TSA worker who saves the day. Also, the Hillary oh gosh reaction shot lacked her trademark Terminator stiffness, or maybe it's just me. Trump should hire Van Jones to replace Betsy DeVos as the head of education. A handsome black man would be a more invested champion of due process for brothers charged of rape and aggressive eyeballing and lip licking at the club. But if Karl Rove can be bipartisan, I did hear this from my father. I was going to go postal. But if Karl Rove can be bipartisan, he pushed W to run for president. He was America's fuck-up enabler. Shut up already. You're just embarrassing yourself. Latching any veneer of goodness to that evil turd is like saying John Podesta is good with kids. Can I get another holla for some holla? My dad's defense for never getting a tree in our home for my mom who converted to Judaism. When Jews look at Christmas trees, they see a camouflage cross. Like a topless collar priest in khaki shorts at Action Park, it gives me the creeps. All right? Huh? I'm so sick of hearing how divisive our country has become. Prefaced with the implied assertion it's all Trump's fault. When half of the U.S. normalizes Antifa, voter fraud, Nazi smears, witch hunts, and sanctuary cities because Rapewood's enabler pick lost. Can I get another holla for some holla? Mother-in-law, Matilda, make sure you eat all your breakfast because it's good for your brain and body. It's my daughter. I took 2 more bites like Daddy told me to. Translation, F off. Facebook grandma, you're older than Ariel's clam trap in the sea. So got another piece republished today on the Good Men Project called Children Are Better Than You. And we'll get to that in a second. But I want to talk more about bare minimum grandparent providers. Baba isn't God's gift, kid. Nancy Reagan was an actress before she became a housewife. Baba was a hairdresser for a day before her Spanx fitting the following week. Can I get another holla for some holla? What's your reason for leaving your wife? Substandard sex? Grandparent step-up upgrade. It's my wife's childhood home. It's a bare minimum grandma provider. This place is a dump. This is me. You never see your grandchildren, Rosa. And stop acting like your living room wasn't an avalanche of disorganization to begin with. Stay-at-home dads have a grace period before both grandmas resent your existence because they never enjoyed mothering the way you did. nor do they engender the same gushing affection from their two children compared to your adoring gaga-eyed three. Not one, but two, but three. Facebook made bare minimum grandparents cheapo love providers who need real FaceTime when you've got endless photo feed filler to comment on with emojis because you're an emotionally retarded expressionist resistor. And once again, Zitfei Zuck, thank you so much for extending an olive branch to parents when they had no business spying and being involved in their lives and getting, primo frontline seats of our grandchildren when they didn't really earn around in the first place. Can I get another holla for some holla? Zitfei Zuck. Yeah, tremendous humanitarian. Anyone that's ever posted anything, pro Trump, you're gone. You're a menace to society. But Farrakhan, feel free to keep up with those Jew termite analogies. You really have you're a poet laureate that just hasn't been given the respect you deserve, and keep on giving Antifa premium coverage and exposure on Facebook. They've only been declared as a domestic terrorist organization, but give them complete free reign, no problem, because they're harmless, they're innocuous, they're a bunch of Beverly Hills ninja wannabes, and George Soros, he pays them minimum wage. It's still $50 an hour, so what's the big deal? You got to keep active. It's better to keep them out of your parents' basement. Someone has to carry out the dirty work for Don Lemon's fluttering lisp. Antifa. They're just wearing Colin Kaepernick jerseys. If they won't, who will? Outside of Jay-Z and LeBron James. Fake news fro needs all the love he can get. It is a fake news fro. I'm talking about Colin Kaepernick. It's a fake news fro. I've never seen a biracial afro that large before. Slash from Guns N' Roses gave it a shot. He tried to grow it out. But his shot at it was a total flop. So, and that picture, on GQ, are you kidding me? Right? It looked like they basically, the editors of GQ, when he won Man of the Year, it looked like they'd photoshopped Bobby Seale, used to be the head of the Black Panthers. Look like they photoshopped Bobby Seale's leather jacket and Sly Stone's afro from the movie Woodstock on the cover. And I'm making that cover sound even less ridiculous than it actually looked in real life. But I'm glad Nike's selling more sneakers, though. So I was talking about Facebook. Yeah, but Mark Zuck, Zitfei Zuck, he's a man. He's a man because he steals the idea for a company from the twins because he didn't have the balls to hit on a girl without knowing her availability status. He needed to make sure that she wasn't dating anyone or she wasn't a professed swinger. He had to know. He had to make sure that the woman had her status available. He needed that safe space inside before he started sweating on her profusely and decided to, whip off the hoodie and kick boots and gross her out and, just give her the taste of Zitfei Zuck the rest of his life. So, that's that. I can't wait for Facebook and Twitter to be broken up. I know I said I wouldn't be talking about shadow banning again, but I am telling you, and this is not my own thoughts here, but it's totally true. When you start censoring content, you act like a publishing company, you're no longer a private entity. And you're going to get broken up. And you're going to get busted up good. You're all anti-American scumbag as far as I'm concerned. Facebook, Twitter, you know who you are. Your time is gonna come. I'm having way too much fun today. Your time is gonna come. By the way, when the Wesses won, Led Zeppelin live, look it up on Spotify. You're welcome. Jimmy Page says that that's the height of their artistry. That's when the band was peaking before Jimmy Page retreated to that coked out medieval castle somewhere in England. So, what's a bare minimum grandparent provider? A grandmother insisting on watching the local news after dinner This over Christmas break. Acting like her three grandchildren in the TV room over Christmas break is cramping her tight in the Spanx style. Can I get another holla for some holla? I'll elaborate. What's a bare minimum grandparent provider? You ask that same grandmother to babysit once a year over Christmas break, and she replies with, "What time?" And Eric hasn't taken me out for 2 decades and counting. What time? Like working overtime is in your vocabulary, babe. My mom. I never just heard my mom pulling. This is like my mom's like best like Hillary Hammertime Cankles impersonation. Outside of her saying I don't recall. That's my mom. I never told you to become a garbage man. You just need to be a provider. That's me. Thanks for the newsflash, Mom. Because I live to be looked down on by my wife as an exploitative, deplorable, dependent bitch under permanent house arrest. Can I get another holla for some holla? Hey, babe, if I get a job at the XFL, your mom will hate me forever. Why? You'd have a job. The founder, Vince McMahon, is boys with Trump. His wife, Linda, is in charge of the Small Business Administration for the White House. Resist this, Rosa. Oh, I can't take you no more. What's a bare minimum grandparent provider? Grandma saving money on UPS delivery and only sending pictures of her birthday gift for her grandson, knowing he'll be able to collect it in 2 months later in person. What's a bare minimum grandparent provider? You get texts like, Dad mailed Arthur's card through US mail, not UPS, so his pathetic fill-in excuse for my son's birthday is a meager act of generous, worshipful spirit for his grandson. What's a bare minimum grandparent provider? So glad you asked again. You get texts like, Dad mailed Arthur's card through US mail, not UPS. So I shouldn't be in a rush to judge that any more than in my republished piece, Wishing My Son's Birthday Never Blows. Again, what's a bare minimum grandparent provider? You get texts like, Dad mailed Arthur's card through US mail, not UPS, so Dad's a pathetic fill-in for his real-life presents because he doesn't do the cold anymore. Can't even show timely love. Hey, babe, if I get a job at the XFL, your mom will hate me forever. Why? You'd have a job. Not just any job, babe, but for a company which has a mission statement I could believe in. Alternative NFL for Gen X Proud Patriots is Nirvana. Courtney Love would concur. I love Courtney Love. Big fan of Courtney Love. She's like Mia Farrow with better husband selection. Hey, babe, if I get an executive recruiter job at XFL, your mom will hate me forever. Why? You'd have a job. Babe, it's the only new startup which will value my old school hustle and xenophobia of social selling. Hey, babe, if I get a job at the XFL, your mom will hate me forever. Why? You'd have a job. Yeah, for the patriotic American Gladiators alternative to the NFL. She won't be able to take my patriotic power and might anymore. USA! USA! Editor. Some random editor. Due to your tongue-in-cheek humor, we can't tell what side you're on. I'm on God's side, the one Facebook likes to blotch out in favor of live streaming torture, kiddie porn links, and F Jews, Farrakhan sermons. Can I get just one more? Holla for some holla. Just to be clear, any dumbfuck CIO who doesn't know how to set up a Skype account is an overrated, full of shit, overrated hack to begin with. I'm also questioning his salesmanship, which explains why he's stuck as a CIO, not the CEO. There's some other strange editor again. Due to your tongue-in-cheek humor, we can't tell which side you're on. If I was so homophobic, if I was such a homophobic xenophobe, why would I go back to a steam room in LA Fitness for a schwitz? Hey, babe, if I get a job at the XFL, your mom will hate me forever. Why? You'd have a job. But XFL Magazine isn't making Fake News Fro Man of the Year to appease his deflated ego in the form of X participation. Let's do that again. Hey, babe, if I get a job at the XFL, your mom will hate me forever. Why? You'd have a job. But XFL Magazine isn't making Fake News Fro Man of the Year to appease his deflated ego in the form of an X participation trophy. Just one more time. I'm still not getting this. What's a bare minimum grandma provider? One who doesn't make breakfast till 10:45 a.m. over Christmas break when you've had all year as a stay-at-home doggy sitter to prepare for the arrival of your 3 grandchildren with gifts still in cardboard boxes. Hey, babe, if I get a job at the XFL, your mom will hate me forever. Why? You'd have a job. I see. So being a future best-selling author, stay-at-home dad of 3 kids, only one planned is chopped liver? What's a bare minimum grandparent provider? I don't think given enough explanations or examples yet. You get texts like, Dad mailed Arthur's card through U.S. mail, not UPS. Got the message. Wishing his grandson's birthday never blows isn't the focal point of his existence. What's a bare minimum grandparent provider? You ask holier than now Baba to babysit once a year over Christmas break, and she replies with, but Eric never takes me out anymore. It's no longer about you. Unhuggable cunt. The end. Hope you guys enjoyed that, folks. So, I am just thrilled to be published again on the Good Men Project. Kara Kennedy, Wilhelm Cortez, thank you so much for embracing my voice and for providing exposure to these love letters to my children. They've definitely, and what's been great is that they have promoted my jokes, which I'm obviously very proud of. But in addition to that, they've definitely been more inclined to share my pieces that possess more of my heartfelt touch, which is very special. And again, I will give, credit where credit's due. My own father, he always says, son, like, just, you got to get past this obsession about, proving your sense of funny. Like, you're funny. But, you need to, focus more on expressing beauty, which you're capable of. And I'm spoiled by beauty, obviously. And so I want to, thank my dad for, giving me that push. Obviously, I still have a lot of, pent-up rage issues. I mean, just to be clear, my dad earned his freedom. He slept over the GW, forever. One of the reasons why he worked in sales, he's very successful. He was a rainmaker. I'm more of a trickler. At least I was when I worked as a headhunter. Because I was never really committed 5,000%. Because I was always so obsessed with being the writer and proving my worth there, proving that I was more than just a schmuck in a headset. And, I've had some mini wins along the way. I was able to write for TV, for VH1 and VH1 Classic. Had some pieces published in Fire and Knives. Like, I don't drink German Rieslings. Yeah. Anthony Bourdain rips my frozen lunch apart. I love to share my titles. And, of course, recently with the Good Men Project, so far I think it's 8 or 9 pieces they've republished, which are all going to be chapters in State of Comedian. So that's all great. But, the writing, is not brought home the big bucks just yet. But we're very close. And that's very exciting. And the Good Men Project, they have a bunch of ex-military vets, that participate. And again, the Good Men Project is all about having conversations no one else is having. They're putting a spotlight on modern fatherhood and putting a spotlight on the more involved father today. And I'm very proud to be, included in that class. However, I've also reached the conclusion that, stay-at-home dads can't survive as welfare mothers forever. and I read some statistic a long time ago that I think it's like 89%, if not more, stay-at-home dads want out. Now, the thing is, I don't want out. I want to, there's so much more work I want to get done here that I know that I won't have as much energy to do if I'm back in the machine making money for someone else. But, I'm also a semi-realist pragmatist, and is that, I know that my material from both the podcast and my book, that, I might not find an agent or a publisher that's going to, jump at the chance to publish it because it can be considered a tad controversial. So, and this doodle dad over here understands that I got to bring home the bacon. The time is now. So, but like what I resent is, the thing is, I don't have grandparents to lean on. I do have bare minimum grandparent providers. Doesn't mean they don't love their children, but they've made their line in the sand, and my in-laws adopted a dog. Like, okay, fine. So that's gonna be the focal point of your existence. That you have 3 grandchildren. Have a field day. Hey, Dad. Okay, you've decided you're gonna set up shop in Arizona permanently, and playing tennis with Dr. Ken's gonna be the focal point of your existence the majority of the year. Okay, fine. You've earned that right. You pay for your kid's college. Okay, do what you got to do. Fine. I'm not saying you're awful human beings for this. Life is very short, and you deserve your happiness. But it doesn't mean that I need to be like thrilled about the arrangement. It doesn't mean that I can't take personal offense when baby boomer arrogance never dies, and you're gonna blame all this divisiveness and hate on the president of the United States who's working for free, which neither of you would do in a million years, and your good guy status is just questionable, from my standpoint, when I know for a fact that, and the thing is, also, I mean, I understand, I'm a romantic, I'm an idealist. I understand that not every grandpa is the grandpa reading you bedtime stories from Princess Bride. Uh, I get that, we all would like that Peter Falk, character in our lives, but, you know, I see nothing wrong with busting some balls and making fun of baby boomers because they what America obviously told the entire world when Hillary lost, which is that baby boomer mom doesn't know best, and unfortunately, CNN, MSNBC, they've just been making lies after lies after lies, really basically to keep baby boomers glued to their TVs and keep them in business. Because I don't know who else is watching these shows, to be honest with you. And New York Times. I believe it all stems from jealousy. I talked about this before. I don't think so on the podcast, but Trump has great relationships with all of his children, and none of them are drug addicts, none of them are degenerate f-ups, and no baby boomer would ever dare articulate this. They would never give credit to Trump. They're like, oh, well, boarding schools raise the kids and blah, blah, blah. But, I read his wife's book, and, he had all of his, sons, like, working the construction sites at, like, very young ages, and they express themselves very well on Twitter. Obviously, they got good education and everything. The Manhattan, kids and what have you. And, Donald Trump's a very smart guy. Um, he's married, smart, successful women. But so his offspring are, going to be smart. But the point being is that they've stuck by their father, and Ivanka, when she spoke at the Republican National Convention, I just knew that there was no way he was going to lose. People said I was crazy, for predicting it, but you have to understand, folks. I got a daughter, so for me, in the end, we're judged by the fruits that we bear. I mean, yeah, work and accomplishment, that's a big deal, and we all men didn't need to be successes. I totally agree with Bukowski. I agree it's even more important than love, but you obviously need love, but you're never really going to be happy on any sort of sustaining level unless you know that you've been able to be experience success and try to perpetuate it and top that. Just being loved by your kids alone, has its limitations, which I get. And that's why I'm writing this book. That's why I'm doing the podcast. And that's why, getting a job, let's say, working for the XFL, is a mission statement I can really rally behind. And I'm not going to say that it feels like my patriotic duty. I don't want to totally overstate the fact. But State of Connecticut is close by, and I do have connections with the WWE, with Chris Jericho, with the American Star 100, and I think it'd be pretty cool to be a part of a sports startup and to put my good recruitment experience to use and meet some interesting hustling scrappers. I was watching The Expendables last night, and there's this line with Chuck Norris where he's referred to as the lone wolf, and at the end he says, "You murdered all of my all the bad guys that basically get me in business." Then he has this line where he goes, "It's more fun to run in the pack." So I wouldn't mind running the pack again. Although I got to be honest, I got a great pack right here at home, and it's in God's hands. But right now, I am just focused on creating as much opportunity as humanly possible. So, literary agent in Brooklyn. All I got to tell you, my friend, is I have got the funniest parenting education memoir book of all time, hands down. I will match any laugh out loud count to any other book by the Edges Musings of Jim Gaffigan, Paul Reiser. I don't sound nearly as excessively overtly Jewish. or his Punch Light in my prose. Tom Papa, give me a break. You can't even keep a Jerry Seinfeld show in business for that being canceled. And yeah, so I got the jokes, I got the heart, and Good Man Project is securing my good man non-divisive status. So let's make history together, okay? We got 64 million branded racists who would be dying to get a copy of State-Owned Comedian, How Three Kids Got My Act Together. Not only for themselves, but for their family members, and for anyone that still has a respect and appreciation for the do-it-all American dad that wants to raise drug-free children who show respect to our military, cops, law and order, who also hold the highest regard for freedom of expression and not this crazy, lying, smearing culture that has 0.0 respect for the clothes, for hustle, and for any form of accomplishment that's required, being an original and doing good for the sake of it, without there always having to be some sort of perceived agenda. So, Trump is giving a speech right now about the border, and I know he's going to deliver. And I know for a fact that this speech is going to communicate a very simple fact, and that is he ran for president because he wanted to make us safe and more prosperous. He's a proud patriot American. He did the same thing with New York City, folks, and now he's just doing it on a more grander scale. Last time I checked, North Korea was giving up nukes. Last time I checked, he has developed a very strategic partnership with Saudi Arabia. Last time I checked, we moved our embassy to Israel. Last time I checked, we passed prison reform, which affects mostly African Americans. Last time I checked, we were able to cut regulations. Last time I checked, our economy has never been better for minorities. And last time I checked, our factory jobs are back. Last time I checked, we have respect among the world. Last time I checked, President Trump's representation of real, unwavering leadership has now sparked social revolutions in France and Germany. Last time I checked, we now have a president that just doesn't take it on the chin, that hits back twice as hard as what's given to him. Last time I checked, we have a president that has never done a drug his entire life, that understands the carnage and horror that heroin and pills and Oxycontin has done to our country. And it's not just a city thing, it's a suburb thing now, it's an everywhere thing. And it's coming from Mexico. You can call it racist, call it what you want, but he's doing something about it. So Godspeed, and I'm just couldn't be happier that we have a president. He can be black, white, yellow, albino. I don't give a flying F. But the fact that I got one of my own, meaning a New Yorker in Queens, like myself, taking care of business, making sure that our country is safe and prosperous and free from censorship, tyranny, as much as humanly possible, is a beautiful thing to watch. And the best is yet to come, as far as I'm concerned. And I know I told you that I was going to talk about why children are better than you. So let's wrap up with that. Children are better than you because they don't have a breakdown if you say, I'm surprised you didn't levitate after you just farted on the stairwell. Instead, they say, with relaxed, good humor, glee, back to daddy, you monster! Children are better than you. Because when the children laugh, it sounds like tingly love. Children are better than you. Because no dream is big enough for them. And they never try to trip up your mojo with life accomplishment limiting labels. Children are better than you. When you tell them about positive happenings in your writing career, they don't turn into tone-deaf mutes instantaneously on cue every time. Children are better than you because you never inspired me to write poetry in your honor. Children are better than you because their eyes actively search for magical delight in all, rather than seek out imperfections to shred to pieces. Children are better than you because their love makes me feel like a winner inside. Children are better than you. They do mini musicals for me. Children are better than you. They push me to become the best version of me. Children are better than you because when I say I'm sorry, they let it go. Children are better than you. They never take your emotionally present company for granted, giving 10 times love back for showing an interest in getting closer to them. Children are better than you. They instinctively know when you're being a boring, bossy stiff before you do. Children are better than you. They look at the world with infinite wonder. Children are better than you because when they say yum about your homemade hummus, they say it with pure, holy wow, this is the best batch ever. Keep up the good work, dada, joy. Children are better than you because giving them shoulder rides makes you feel like the one on top of the world. This is Doodle Dad, your podcast, dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. Controlling our kids to comedy, can make our kids great again. Have a wonderful Saturday night to all, and I will talk to you guys soon.